A sourcing hero is somebody who is going against the grain and is helping to rebrand our industry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Sourcing Hero podcast. I'm your host, Catherine, and today I have an awesome guest for you for the very first episode, Sarah Scudder. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be the first guest representing the world of marketing procurement. I am joining from Danville, California, and I am melting away here. We have quite a heat wave. It's like 108 degrees this week.
I am so sorry to hear that. It's a beautiful 70 degrees in the studio today.
Yeah, it looks like you're nice and comfy in your office.
Yes, I feel for you right now. You look like you're sweating bullets.
That's okay. I will get through it.
I'm excited to have you on the show. And for those of you listening who don't know Sarah Scudder, I'll just give you a brief introduction. I'm sure most of you know. She's been in procurement for about 15 years and specifically specializes in marketing procurement, print services, and we'll get into more of that later. But she's got an interesting perspective on procurement. She's outspoken and she has a knack for networking on LinkedIn and online through online events. She's going to bring incredible value and insight to this conversation today. So thank you, Sarah, for joining us.
Yeah, excited to be here.
So we're here to talk about you as a sourcing hero, as our guest. We want to find out how you got here. Those moments where, in our minds, the sourcing hero is someone in procurement or supply chain who has such a heavy load on their shoulders and so much responsibility. And it's tied to spend and it's efficiency within a business. And there's so much writing on what you do every day. And there's some tough lessons that come with that. I want to know from your perspective, what does being a sourcing hero mean to you?
A sourcing hero is somebody who goes against the norm and goes against the grain and is fighting to make procurement cool and make it that it's a profession that people really seek out and want to go into. So I live here in the Silicon Valley, and I have to say that procurement is not considered cool here. It's not something that people talk about. It's not a profession that people really seek out. It's something that people fall into. And where I live, people really want to go into technology. And technology is cool, it's hip, it's modern, it's agile. And I want to see procurement get to that level and status where it's something that's considered to be really cool and modern and hip. Now, I love procurement, especially marketing procurement. I think it's the coolest space and the best and most interesting category. But I think procurement adds significant value to organizations, and it's often underrepresented. And I think that's for a couple reasons. People who are in procurement often don't do a very good job of bragging or talking about what they do. They're heads down, working with stakeholders, solving problems, implementing solutions, and they're so busy in their day-to-day work that they don't think about talking about all the things that they've done or the value that they've added or focus on building a brand and posting content on social media. So I think we're out there doing all this amazing work, but it's not talked about enough. And I think some people are also very leery to share a more personal side about themselves. So they're hesitant to post a lot of content and information on social media because they're very private. And I think there's a way where you can talk about all the great work that you and your procurement teams are doing and make it kind of fun and personal and share your voice without making it too uncomfortable or talking about too much personal detail.
Yeah, I think you've married marketing and procurement so well. And of course, I'm biased. I'm a marketer and a creative, and talking about my work, promoting work is not an issue for me. But I understand procurement professionals that do struggle with that because they are in the work every day and there's not a whole lot of outward expression of that work, right? Because they're in it every day with their teams. And I think that you've done a really great job of making it more accessible, showing others how to get that network going and normalizing talking about yourself, right? Creating a platform for yourself.
And I think a lot of that ties back into building your personal brand, figuring out who you are, how you want to be represented in the community and within the procurement industry, and then focusing on sharing your voice. And it's okay to be quirky. It's okay to be funny. It's okay to share something serious, share something scary. You shouldn't be afraid to communicate and build your brand around your voice. And for me, I'm definitely kind of a quirky, off the wall, not your average Joe type person. And I know when I was starting to build my company and build my brand as a thought leader in the marketing procurement space, I was a little scared and nervous at first. Like, what if people don't like what I say? What if they find what I talk about off-putting? What if I offend people? And I've learned over my last 2 years at RSN, where I'm building a software company in the print and marketing procurement space, that I can't worry about what other people think about me. I'm very conscious of not offending people, but I'm not going to not be funny and not be myself at the risk of somebody not liking what I write or talk about. So I think it's a really important lesson for all of us in procurement to find that voice and really focus on building the brand. And one of my dear friends who I think has just done an incredible job of building her brand within the procurement space is Susan Walsh. She's in the UK and she's the classification guru. Again, she's a very quirky, funny, very unique, different person who has built a company around helping organizations clean their data. And her posts are absolutely hysterical. She makes funny videos and she's just herself. Her and I actually both have obsessions. She loves Robbie Williams, the UK singer. I'm obsessed with Bradley Cooper. We now both have cutouts in our houses and we make videos and talk about our obsessions online. So she's someone who has just done a job of building her brand. And there's so many other people now. And I'm really excited to see one of the effects of COVID of people really putting themselves out there and being more willing to try things like LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is the most incredible marketing platform there is today in the entire world. It's a wonderful way to build a brand, build really meaningful, valuable connections.
That's a bold claim, and I don't disagree. I think LinkedIn is one of the most valuable social media platforms for procurement and other industries as well, but especially for procurement.
Well, I think LinkedIn is really good for B2B. And so
Right.
a lot of us in the procurement world, whether we're actually on the practitioner buy side or we're on the supplier side, oftentimes we're working in the world of B2B. And LinkedIn is a really, really great avenue for that. B2C, a little bit different. You've got Instagram, TikTok, and some other outlets that work better for those types of companies.
So are you on TikTok? You seem to be the type to try that space out.
So I have to say, one of my goals for 2020 is to get better at making videos. Again, Susan has kind of been my inspiration. She's been making all of these hysterical videos and posting them. I have not done as good a job at that. I did compete in a supply chain lip sync contest where I did a 30-minute lip sync. But so I don't make a lot of videos yet. I'm going to, and when I do, I will be part of the TikTok community.
I love that. Didn't you and Anthony? Didn't he respond to your challenge on the lip syncing
Yeah,
videos?
Anthony was part of it as well. He was rocking out to shoot. I can't remember, but he was pretty good.
Wasn't it like Michael Jackson, something like that?
I can visualize it because he was sitting in his house doing it, but
Oh my
I
God.
can't remember which song.
He's going to love it that I brought that up. You've started an incredible company. you're not shy about it. You're not shy about talking about procurement and marketing procurement. What kind of advice would you give to up and coming procurement professionals who are maybe taking the first steps to building their own personal brand?
Yeah, so I'm going to give a few tips because I can't just give one.
Right.
First tip is going to be use LinkedIn every day. Block out time in your calendar, whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, and spend time on LinkedIn. And that means liking or reacting to posts, engaging in comments, and creating your own content, whether you're doing posts and or producing articles. But it's really, really important to put it in your calendar or it's easily forgotten and people get busy in their days. And then it's 6 or 7 o'clock at night and you're tired and, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then that pushes out to a week and then a month from now. So make time in your schedule to be on LinkedIn. The second thing is spend time every week writing. So I know that may seem odd and you're thinking, well, I'm not in marketing or I'm not a writer. Why would I need to do that? But it's been really invaluable for me and many of the procurement professionals that I have and do mentor in the procurement space is spend time writing down thoughts that you have, things that you learn, challenges that you've experienced, and then use that in the content that you create. One of the biggest challenges that I hear people say is, well, I don't have anything to post about. I'm not interesting. I don't know what I would write. So to overcome that, by creating a daily or weekly journal where you're writing all of your experience and the things you learn, it helps you come up with really good content and information. The third thing is reach out to 5 new people every day. So there are so many ways that you can find people and network now. Spend time meeting 5 new people. And a couple great resources for that, especially if you're on the buy side, is the Procurement Foundry. My good friend Mike is the CEO and founder, and he's developed this amazing online global community using Slack to allow practitioners to collaborate and share ideas. That is a great way to go find other people that are in procurement that are like-minded, or maybe people that have different viewpoints that you want to learn from and engage. Many organizations like yours, like my company, and several other more innovative, new, kind of tech-focused suppliers are hosting a lot of virtual events. These are things that are panels, presentations, happy hours. Some of them are interactive, some of them are more educational, but it's a great way to watch somebody present and then reach out to them afterwards and say, hey, I saw you present on the UNA panel, or I saw you speak at the RSN event, and I was really interested to talk more about X, Y, and Z. So reach out to people, and that's a really good way to build your network. My fourth tip is as you expand and build your network, you need to continuously follow up with people. I can't tell you how many times I'll have somebody send me a note, I'll connect with them on LinkedIn, and then I never ever hear from them again. Or somebody will set up a meeting, I'll have a 30-hour call, I'll exchange an email, and then nothing. If you want to build a lasting network, you need to stay engaged with people. And that's more than just one email or one phone call. So come up with a system that works for you to stay in touch with people. So for me, I block out time in my calendar every week. That's my stay in touch with people. That's literally what I put in my calendar. And I will write cards, I will order gifts, I will send flowers, I will send text messages, I will make phone calls, and I do it every single week. And that's how I stay engaged and connected with my network. So a year from now, 2 years from now, I'm still involved in people's lives, and I want to be top of mind when somebody needs advice or support or help in the printer marketing procurement space. I want to be a great resource for the community.
I think that the underlying lesson here is being intentional about all of this, because it doesn't just happen. A network doesn't just, occur out of thin air, and relationships don't foster themselves. And you've just laid out an incredible 4-step plan for anybody that's listening. And I would say, Sarah, you missed a step. The first step is getting connected with you on LinkedIn, because being able to see and watch how people engage with your posts is a really great way to get an idea of how your system works.
Yes, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you want to schedule some time to get a free session, I'm happy to schedule 15 or 30 minutes to give some tips on how to maximize posts, how to engage comments, and how to really interact and engage with people.
And the online events that you talked about, I've been to one happy hour and it was so much fun. And it would be a really easy, casual introduction to the network that you've built. Some highly talented people on that call. And I remember even one guy said that this was his first online call like this, and he's normally shy, but he was happy to be networking. So tell me about that event that you do every week, and then maybe some others that are coming up.
Yeah, so I run a company called RSN, and we have a software solution for sourcing print and marketing services. We are a startup, and as part of our strategy to build our brand and really help provide thought leadership in the marketing procurement space, we are hosting a lot of online events to help build community and connect people and foster collaboration. So, one of the things we do is we host a quarantine hair don't care hump day happy hour
Love that.
every Wednesday at 5 Eastern time. We are hosting it through the end of the year. So if you want to join once a month, twice a month, whatever works with your schedule, typically lasts about an hour, hour and a half. And each happy hour, we have a dress code and a topic. So our happy hour, for example, tomorrow is dress as your favorite sports team and share your favorite or best networking tip. So each week that changes. And then we've also launched something called the Procurement Talks. We host an event every month, and that varies, typically a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday at 1 Eastern time. And we find a thought leader to moderate a panel, and then we find people who are doing really cool and innovative things in procurement, and we have them tell their stories. And this year, our theme for Procurement Talks is Train Wrecks, Nightmares, and Meltdowns, Tales of Lessons Learned. So people are coming in and telling their absolute nightmare train wreck stories, everything that went wrong. And there's some really fun, interesting things that people have experienced. But what I find most useful is the tips. What did they learn? How can we as a community and as leaders not make those same mistakes and set ourselves up for success if we are to come across similar situations? And then the third series that we host is called Truth from the Trenches. And it's a virtual experience that we host every quarter, and it is specifically focused on marketing procurement. So we will facilitate a panel where we bring people, again, doing really cool and innovative things in marketing procurement. That may be in the print space, the marketing services space, that may be in direct mail, logistics, agency, media. And we have a really lively discussion about what they're doing, what their learnings are, and what some of the trends and innovations that they're seeing happening specifically in the marketing procurement space. And then my final big announcement for virtual events is we've actually partnered with Procurement Foundry, and we are helping produce a marketing procurement virtual summit on October 29th. It is a one-day packed event filled with some of the biggest brands in the world talking about agency and media. And our keynote is Seth Godin, and he is one of the most influential marketing people in the world, and we're really, really excited to have him close out our conference.
Well, what I'm particularly interested in is the train wreck conversations. I'm going to tune in just so that I can hear some of those stories, because it's better for somebody else to make those mistakes, right? And to learn from their lessons.
Yeah, and it's I've been really surprised. People have been really open and transparent about things that they've learned in all stages of their procurement careers. Some things very simple and basic, some major CEO involved company-wide disasters. And I'm with you. I think I'm a very visual person, and I don't learn as well by reading. I like hearing and learning from other people. So I take a lot out of those events as things that I can avoid, or tips or things that we can learn and make sure that we don't make those same mistakes.
And I love a good story, right?
We've had some very, very funny storytellers as well, which I always can appreciate the humor.
So, thinking about your career and the evolution of Sarah Scudder, I know that you have an incredible amount of experience and have a lot to share with our audience. But what would you tell young Sarah Scudder starting out in procurement, if you could? What would be the one thing you'd tell her with the scope that you have now?
Mm-hmm. So I'll answer that personally and professionally. Professionally, I'm going to tie it directly into marketing procurement, since that's my space and my world, is start small. Don't try to tackle the big projects first. I think I made some big mistakes early on in my career when I was working with several global brands to help them set up and implement strategic programs to better manage their print and marketing services spends. And instead of coming in and tackling some of the smaller projects, I wanted to come in and take over the major projects, or the biggest spends. And that's very, very challenging and can ruin your relationship with marketing forever. So go after the small wins, things that marketing is kind of a pain to them, maybe things that aren't easy for them to do, or things that they don't want to prioritize or really focus on. Do those and do them well. And then over time, marketing is going to see that you're solving problems and come to you with bigger and bigger projects. From a personal perspective, I would say two things. Making a lot more money is not worth working for people or a company that is unethical. And sometimes you need to make lateral career moves to move up.
Totally agree on the ethics take. I would much rather work for a company whose core values align with my own, which is why I'm at Una. And some of my former employers didn't last long. It really is not worth the money at all.
Yeah, I had a couple unfortunate experiences in my career where I worked for organizations that had leadership that weren't aligned with my ethics and core values. And then my second tip, as I mentioned, is I think I made the mistake of thinking I always needed to take a bigger title. It's actually better for your career long term to maybe do a lateral move, and you may not have a title, a salary advancement, but you're going to pick up skills that you really need to learn to get you to where you want to be in your career eventually.
Right. So a little bit more long-term planning instead of being enticed by the short-term promotion.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if someone is interested in looking at your tool or finding out more about RSN, where should they go?
Yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest way. Shoot me a note, and I'm always on, so you'll get a message response pretty quickly.
Okay, great. And what's your website?
Our website is rsnetwork.com.
Okay, great. You guys heard that, rsnetwork.com. Find Sarah Scudder on LinkedIn. She wants to talk to you. And I guarantee that you want to take a look at what she's doing on LinkedIn and start networking with her and put these good lessons to use. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Sourcing Hero and sharing very unique perspective on how people can take control of their own voice in procurement and brand themselves for the betterment of the industry as a whole.
Yeah, and so a hashtag that I'm using a lot, I have to give credit to Mike at Procurement Foundry because he started it. But my hashtag of the year is making procurement cool.
I'm going to start using that. That's awesome. Well, you guys heard it. Hashtag making procurement cool. Check out Sarah Scudder online. Sarah, you've been great.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.